What is up, Bootu? I had to readjust some things because this little tablet of mine that's recording is kind of floopy. I'm gonna call it floopy. I don't care if that's not a word. But this is my reaction rant for Arrow season 4, episode 13, titled "Sins of the Father." So we left off season 2 where Thea's in a coma because of her bloodlust is pretty much killing her. And, Oliver's there in the hospital room with her, and Nyssa comes out of nowhere saying, "I have a cure for her. I'll give it to you. Just kill Malcolm Merlin." But anyway, we're starting off with that, and Oliver apparently refuses Nyssa's offer, and instead he attempts to convince Malcolm to relinquish control of the League to Nyssa in exchange for the cure. And the whole thing about that is that Malcolm claims that Nyssa is lying about having a cure. And because of that, he refuses to go along with the plan. And while Nyssa agrees to it, she proclaims that, to Malcolm, Nyssa pretty much proclaims that if Malcolm backs away, everyone will be considered an enemy. And Oliver manages to convince Nyssa to pretty much provide a sample, give me proof that you actually have some sort of cure that will help Thea. Proof to Merlin that you're not lying. Show us some proof. Give a little sample to Thea. And so basically she does this, and they witness that Thea, with the cure, is starting to get a little bit better from her little coma from the bloodlust. And because they witness it, Malcolm actually, is like, oh, she's telling the truth, so he agrees to the deal. And apparently at the exchange, Malcolm double-crosses Nyssa, and Nyssa is unfortunately forced to retreat. And during all this, Oliver manages to convince Malcolm to challenge Nyssa to a duel. Kind of like how Oliver fought the original Ra's al Ghul. And when Oliver killed the original Ra's al Ghul took off his little demon head ring and gave it to Oliver, saying, he picked the right person. It's kind of like that, And so, Oliver convinced Malcolm to challenge Nyssa to a duel, with the winner remaining the leader of the League. And it really did remind me of when Oliver fought Ra's al Ghul for the final time, and Oliver kills Ra's al Ghul, and yeah, like I said, he takes off the ring, gives it to Oliver, saying, I picked the right heir to the League. And it kind of reminds me of that, so it kind of mirrors that in a way, and in a small way, it kind of mirrors that. And it made me think maybe it'll be the same thing, the same thing again, one of them will die. That's what I believed, right? And before the fight, Oliver apparently uses this ancient rule when it comes to the League of Assassins, where he trades places with Nyssa, and he's the one going to fight Malcolm for pretty much challenging him to be the leader of the League in Nyssa's place, because in the League of Assassins' eyes, Nyssa and Oliver did get married. If you guys remember, with the original Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul wanted his daughter Nyssa to marry Oliver, have another heir and all that stuff. And they did technically get married there with the League of Assassins as their witness. So Oliver uses that and ancient rules and stuff like that to trade places with Nyssa and fight Malcolm in her stead, because he's still, in the League's eyes, her husband. Which I thought was interesting, how Oliver used that as an excuse to fight Malcolm, which I thought was pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. It's and part of me actually forgot that technically Oliver and Nyssa did get married with the League of Assassins. They had their own little priest dude there. They did get married and everything. And technically they are still husband and wife. So I almost forgot about that. And the fact that Oliver pretty much reminded us of that was pretty interesting and funny, in my opinion. Because it's he proposed to Felicity. Felicity is his fiancée. But he's technically still married to Nyssa al Ghul. So it's you already have a wife in the League of Assassins, and you're going to marry Felicity. 2 wives, Oliver! 2 wives! But anyway, during that whole fight, Oliver manages to best Malcolm, but instead of killing him, like, which Malcolm pretty much eggs him on, he's like, do it, kill me, right? Instead of killing him, Oliver pretty much cuts off Malcolm's hand, the very hand that is wearing the demon head ring. And so he cuts off the hand, takes the ring, and knocks Malcolm unconscious. And pretty much gives the ring to Nyssa, which pretty much she becomes the new, in a way, Ra's al Ghul, you know what I mean? And in exchange for the ring, he wants the cure. And Nyssa, realizing her mistake, you know, she's like, I don't like this whole league thing, I don't like what it's doing and all that stuff. She basically has a change of heart after all this, so Nyssa ends up disbanding the League of Assassins and then destroys the actual ring. I find that a very bold move, mainly because DC Comics, the League of Assassins are always around. It doesn't matter if you disband them. They always somehow manage to regroup and become the League of Assassins again, you know what I mean? So, I don't think this is the end of the League. I know that Nyssa disbanded the League, and I know she destroyed the Demon Head ring. But in all honesty, even when Malcolm Merlyn became Ra's al Ghul, a good chunk of the League of Assassins were still loyal to Nyssa because, well, Nyssa is the daughter of the original Ra's al Ghul. So obviously they do have a loyalty to her because of it. And at the same time, most of the League, under the control of the original Ra's al Ghul, they were trying to kill Malcolm because, you know, he was marked for death, I believe. So, of course, some of them don't have really much loyalty to him because of that. And they have loyalty to Nyssa because she's the daughter of the original Ra's. And because of that, they managed to break out Nyssa al Ghul out of that prison that she was being held in. So, disbanded and the head ring gone regardless, I think that the people that were, the League of Assassins that were loyal to Nyssa and helped her throughout all of this, they're still going to be loyal to her, they're still going to be with her. And I don't think it's really the end of the League, honestly. I think we're going to see them again, particularly Nyssa, because technically she is still Oliver's wife, and she's somewhat of a friend to Laurel, due to the fact that Laurel is the older sister of her beloved Sarah. So, I have a feeling there's a possibility. You know, we might see Nyssa again. Possibility. But, getting more into it, because of the whole Oliver trading places with Nyssa and him fighting Malcolm, and then instead of killing him and giving him like an honorable, like somewhat honorable death like the original Ra's, he doesn't kill him at all and cuts off his hand and takes the ring, gives it away. Obviously Malcolm, who's still alive, he's very angry. I'm not surprised. Very, very angry by Oliver's betrayal. And so because of that, Malcolm being an asshole and a whiny little dude, he informs Damien Dark about Oliver Queen's son, the one that's in Central City. So that's not good. So I'm wondering how this is going to pan out. Like, Malcolm telling Damien Dark, oh, by the way, Oliver has a son in Central City. Yeah. And if you guys remember, when Team Arrow and Team Flash last had a crossover, that's when Oliver actually found out about his son. And at that time, Felicity did know about the son, and they were not in good terms to the point where they were practically separated. And Barry ended up going back in time and therefore reversing everything, and now Felicity has no idea about Oliver's son now because of Flash going back in time and redoing everything. And now that Damien Dark knows about Oliver's son, obviously that son and the mother are going to be targeted. And it begs the question, what's going to happen when Felicity actually finds out? Because obviously, you know, Damien Dark will target Oliver's son. And at one point, Felicity will possibly find out. So I want to know what her reaction is going to be in this time around, when she finds out about Oliver's son. Because we all know she already did find out. But that, you know, Flash went back in time. And that reversed everything. So now she doesn't know. And so, I want to see what her reaction will be this time around. And at the same time, could the person in the grave, because Damien Dark knows about Oliver's son, therefore, later on we'll find out the mother of Oliver's son, Oliver's baby mama. It begs the question, the person in the grave, could it possibly be Oliver's son, or possibly the mother of the son? Because a lot of people naturally assume that the person in the grave, they assumed it was either Diggle, Laurel, Thea, or Felicity, and as time went by, people were leaning more toward Felicity, or Thea, mainly Felicity, and now with the bloodlust, they were leaning more toward Thea. But now that Damien Dark knows about the son, and then later on the kid's mother, could the person in the grave be the mom or Oliver's son? Could be. But anyway, another thing that happened during this whole episode are the flashbacks. Raider, I don't want to get too much into detail, but basically Raider takes a stone from Oliver that apparently has these symbols that he's looking for. And I don't know what's up with that. I'm getting slightly confused with the flashbacks, I'm not gonna lie to you. So I need to watch all the flashbacks again and try to get what's going on here in these flashbacks for this season, because I honestly don't know. But anyway, that is my reaction rant to Arrow Season 4, Episode 13, titled Sins of the Father. I know that I had at least 3 videos for The Flash Episode 13. That's only because I watched a good chunk of The Flash, because I came home late, but I still managed to catch a good chunk of the ending of Flash, the ending parts of The Flash. But with Arrow Episode 13, I missed all the episode because I was not home. So, that's why this video is only literally just 1 video, while the Flash Episode 13 were 3 videos. But anyway, I'll see you guys in my next reaction rant, which is going to be Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1, Episode 4, titled White Knights. I'll see you in the next video, guys.